All right,
Hello, welcome to Stories with Issues. I'm Lalo,
and I'm Robert.
and for this episode of Spider Month, we are doing a book that I've been wanting to do for so long, and it's probably one of the best Spider-Man stories ever written.
Why
The
is that?
it's Spider-Man Blue, and it's, as you guys are looking at the cover right now, this is probably one of the most essential evergreen Spider-Man stories. By that I mean like it's an all-time classic. And I do believe that if you're gonna be a Spider-Man reader, you have to read this book, along with a couple lists that I will eventually get to. But this is one of the all-time classics that defined a whole generation of Spider-Man readers. It defined my reading experience back in 2017, got me back into comic books. During a Mexico trip to Chihuahua in 2017. So this is Spider-Man Blue. And it's a very straightforward plot. But the dialogue, the narration is just out of this fucking world.
Can we talk about the fact that it's also part of the Marvel Knights imprint?
Yeah, following on the theme of,
Which we had no idea what that was until we were getting ready to record.
we did not, because my copy, every copy of Spider-Man Blue that I have is from a different imprint or under a different label. My first original copy, like I said, is from Mexico. It's from Mexico. It's printed in Spanish, so it's under the Marvel Classics label, which is an imprint in Mexico. This oversized edition that I got, that I'm gonna be is the one that I'm gonna be using for the entirety of the episode.
Which they can't see because they're looking at my screen.
Yeah, but it's still beautiful. This one was actually gifted to me by our co-host Robert Barth,
CC Neil.
and it's not under any imprints, fortunately enough. It's actually a homage version for Tim Sale, who sadly Tim Sale passed away last year, 2022. And it has a foreword by Jeff Loeb, who's also the writer of this book, saying how they both work on Spider-Man Blue, Daredevil Yellow, and Hulk Gray.
Oh, is that what we're kind of tying into the color things?
Yeah, it's part of the color series by Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb, who also worked back in the early 2000s on The Long Halloween.
Did we accidentally foreshadow this in our Daredevil video?
Pretty sure I did. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it because I definitely had this in the back of my mind while recording that video. But yeah, Jeff Loeb is an amazing writer. He has his down. Like Ultimate Avengers Volume 3.
We throwing share Ultimate Avengers.
No. I'm shitting on Volume 3 because that's the one Jeff Loeb wrote. The rest were written by Mark Millar. Who
you also shit on.
Sometimes. But
most of the time.
Jeff Loeb wrote the idea that Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are not incestuous relations.
Does that mean we gotta cover Ultimatum now because we teased that storyline?
Nah, yeah, we do have to eventually.
April Fool's, guys, watch.
Just for the shit post.
Just for the shit post, besides me actually liking it, so I'm gonna be the host of that one.
So, but yeah, this book is really sad. We're gonna get sad today. I mean, we're blue, right, Robert?
No, we're not I-465.
But going into the book, we have Peter Parker talking to a recorder, a tape recorder, that is, probably Uncle Ben's. We are never stated specifically who it belongs to, or but he is talking to someone specifically, and that someone is his once and his once loved, the love of her life, of his life, Gwen Stacy. And his narration is basically saying that looking at how his life has been, his life is a pattern of good after bad, or bad after good. Basically saying, before things can get really really good, they have to get really really bad. And he is swinging across the city, going to the one place that he goes every February 14th, every Valentine's Day.
Oh,
And that is the place where he lost it all. He's going to deliver a rose to the one woman to his first love. And he is on the top of the Brooklyn Bridge, the place where he lost Gwen Stacy.
depression. Actually, this is
But
always
before
this is always starting to haunt.
this is, like I said, it's a heavy book. It's really, but once you look at it from a perspective of like a reader, it's really beautiful of how like we have these ongoing metaphors, and not just like vocal like literary metaphors, but also visual metaphors, which is a perfect blend of a graphic novel.
And I'm also going to point out the fact that I also did read the most recent Dark What If involving Spider-Gwen.
I actually wanted to bring this up.
And honestly, like I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see what this kind of compares and contrasts, because
I mean, considering we've already done the death of Gwen Stacy, and the story, which is why I've always wanted to wait on this book, because I wanted to cover the death of Gwen Stacy first.
I mean, because it kind of ties into the entire concept.
Absolutely, yes.
But I'm kind of interested to see, well, like the book or the death of Peter Parker's Dark What If, and seeing this, how it compares and contrasts to the same similar ideal. It's not the same like in-depth dive like this book would probably be, but who knows?
So, and Peter Parker finishes this opening narration by saying, "Hello, Gwen, my funny Valentine." And we jump into the flashback of how
that's even messed up. Even it's in the bottle.
We jump into this flashback of the Green Goblin, and it's actually a really cool flashback to Amazing Spider-Man. I should have researched which issue it was.
Good old Stories with Issues charm. Who the hell does research? Am I right?
Pretty sure it's Amazing Spider-Man 31. Don't quote me on that.
I'm going to.
I'm sorry, swear to God, Robert Barth. But it's a story where the Green Goblin kidnaps Peter Parker and drags him to a warehouse. Mask off, drags him across the city, and is kidnapped. And this is where we find out that Norman Osborn is actually the Green Goblin. And Norman Osborn finds out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And Norman is like taunting Peter, saying like, "I can't believe it was a fucking child that's been like being the pain in my ass for the last year and a half." And Peter is obviously quipping around and saying like, what's with the mask, Norman? Like, I already know it's you. Like, are you too afraid for me to die looking at your ugly mugging? And Peter is basically trying to get enough time for him to escape, and starts the fight by basically kicking Norman into the face, launching himself backwards and shattering the chair.
No, I want to say this right now. I kind of like the artwork. It kind of shows like it's good artwork because it's kind of like it's supposed to show the mental state. It shows like a mental state, a little bit more like it's not everything's all clean and cut like the old school comics. There's some sort of edge, and something's going on, some thought process is going on inside Peter's head.
I would make the argument that it's the perfect marriage between Steve Ditko and Marcos Martin.
I know about half those names.
Marcos Martin is who wrote a lot of amazing Spider-Man stories with Dan Slott, and his artwork, you will look at it and you can recognize it on the spot. Like, that's Marcos Martin. He is fan-fucking-tastic. Probably one of the best artists that Dan Slott ever worked with. And that's saying something from a Humberto Ramos, like, stan.
Can't take him anywhere without him mentioning Humberto Ramos. I butchered that. Jesus Christ.
And Spider-Man like immediately like gets off of the chair, starts swinging shit across the Green Goblin, throwing webs at him, and snapping the ropes, basically putting his mask on and saying, "Okay, Goblin, let's finish it once and for all." And some of the narration is also jumping back in as Peter Parker saying to him, like, clarifying that one of the things that says is, at the time, I wasn't quite sure what I meant. I just knew that only one of us was walking out of that warehouse alive, and that was going to be me. Like, already spilling the seeds of, like, Spider-Man eventually being not only the doom of Gwen Stacy, but the doom of Norman Osborn.
Yeah.
And as he's throwing webbings, punching Norman, he is into this fight 100% because he knows that it's his life on the line at this moment. This is a Spider-Man he's 23 years old. He is in college at this moment, and this man just figured out that his real identity. This is a man that's not afraid to cross that line at this moment in time.
And now look at Peter Parker now. Cries at Tombstone. How gauche.
Cries at Tombstone like a bitch. And his spider sense goes off and immediately dodges the Goblin Glider, like in Spider-Man, like in the movie. But unlike in the movie, it doesn't impale the Norman Osborn. It actually just distracts Peter Parker enough for Norman to release himself. Fortunately enough, Peter is able to dodge some of Norman's attacks, like his finger blasters. Pew, pew, pew. I have never known the actual name for them, so I just call them finger blasters.
Because you're a child.
And as Spider-Man is dodging every attack possible, Norman throws a pumpkin bomb, which Peter catches it, swings it right back at him, starting to blow up the warehouse.
He says, "No, you," and then commits an act of domestic terrorism.
And as the warehouse is exploding, it's on fire, right? And he hears the alarm, and suddenly he hears Norman begging for help. And Peter's thought process is like, damn it. This could be it, you know? This could be the end of it. But I have to believe that he's still a good man. And he takes off his mask. He takes off the Goblin suit, takes him out of the warehouse as the firemen are coming into the place.
So I know eventually I am going to cover the Spider-Gwen, maybe solo, or you can have you cover it solo. But there's a moment in that story where it's pretty much a similar, not really similar setup, but this is like after, obviously, where Spider-Gwen traps the Green Goblin with the help of Harry Osborn, which is very interesting. And Gwen's faced with a moment similar to this where she's about to shoot Norman Osborn.
You know why?
Let me continue. So like she's thinking about this, but she doesn't do it because, that's not what Peter would have done. Peter would have just kept on going, wouldn't have killed him, would have just captured him. But it was Harry Osborn who shot him. And
he said, "Fuck you, Dad."
But also that's the snapping point for him to become the new Green Goblin and blames Gwen for causing him to do it.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah.
We're gonna do. I want to do again Spider-Man life story, which has a similar like somewhat of a plot line like that. That's fucking brilliant. Actually, I love that.
I'm kind of upset that's not going to be like its own contained storyline because I would buy issues of that, honestly.
I would read the shit out of that. Holy shit.
Well, I'm sorry about that little side tangent, but I felt that was a really cool like moment I can compare and contrast to because.
No, that's fair enough. Go for it, dude. But before the Spider-Man gets to get away, a fireman asks him like, "What the hell happened to the Green Goblin?" And Spider-Man's like, "Dead. The Green Goblin is dead."
Oh, is he?
He wants to believe so.
Oh yeah, everyone wants to believe so, because that's Peter Falk for you.
The next morning, he takes the pictures to the Daily Bugle, and Jonah's like, "Really? You really think the Green Goblin is dead, dude? Like, what is your problem? What's the matter with you? Like, come on, look at this. This is New York. These characters live and die like it's fucking a comic book series." Until the minute I see the body, that's when I'll believe. Maybe. And Spider-Man's like, "Okay, whatever. Do you want the pictures or not, dude? Don't give me this soliloquy, and just give me the paycheck." And Jonah's like, "Motherfucker, you wanna pay? I paid you last week." And Peter's like, "Yeah, that was for last week's photos," which is really like on brand with J. Jonah Jameson, by the way. Because J. Jonah Jameson's a cheap ass bastard.
Yeah.
But Robbie is like, Norman Osborn has been moved to the New York City Memorial Hospital. We need a photo for it. We need photos of that because that is news.
Yeah.
Apparently, he helped Spider-Man defeat the Green Goblin. And Spider-Man.
Wait a minute. Like, is this a reference of Marvel's in here as well?
Pretty sure Phil Sheldon is mentioned.
Yeah, get Sheldon on it.
Yes. Phil Sheldon is. Yeah. Phil Sheldon is covering the Tony Stark trial. It's also a reference to Marvels. Yes.
Oh, we actually foreshadowed that one. Yeah, spoiler alert, guys. We're doing Marvels after the Spider Month.
Yeah, Spider-Man. We have been preparing so much stuff lately that we are excited to just say it out in the open. We're doing Marvels eventually, right after Spider-Month. Anyway, Spider-Man is. Peter offers up to go to see Norman Osborn, right?
Yeah.
Under a condition for Jonah. Like, and Jonah's like, "Why? How could you even get in there?" And he's like, "Actually, I'm friends with one of the with his son, kinda."
Yeah, I guess at this point they would be still friends, weren't they?
They weren't yet.
Yet? Oh.
No, they weren't yet.
Well, I guess Harry was too busy overdosing, wasn't he?
No, Harry was actually being a bully to Peter.
Oh. I mean, that makes sense.
He hung out with Flash Thompson and Gwen Stacy. And this is where it's all starting to like come into the play. Like I said, it's a story of how Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy fell in love. So Peter says, "I can get in there. I know the guy. He's a good friend of mine." Kinda.
You know what they say?
And John's like,
"Gaslight, gatekeep, go boss."
"Jinx, you owe me a soda."
No, I don't.
Jonah's like, "Sure thing. What do you want?" And Peter's like, "Can I get paid right away?" And Jonah's like, "Fine. Just don't disappoint me." Peter just wants his paycheck, man. That's all he needs. It's kind of like me. Peter's like me.
I can't blame the man. Our society runs on cash, so.
And Peter immediately swings off to see Norman Osborn to get the photo, but mostly because he wants to check on him, considering that, as far as he knows, Norman Osborn's the Green Goblin, and he knows that Peter Parker's Spider-Man.
Yeah, just gotta gather info if anyone else has leaked information.
Wants to see if he's still up, if he's good up there, up in the noggin. And he immediately starts talking to Harry. Like he gets in there and is distracted immediately by Harry. And Harry's like, "Hey, He's Peter's being a good pal. He's just chilling. Like, hey, are you good? Like, how's it going?" And Harry's like taken aback by this because he only knows Peter as a nerd. He knows Peter to be like this dumbass who can do nothing right.
Like us?
So Peter, like, seeing Peter worry about him, it kind of makes him reflect on himself and how he's been treating Peter. Like, maybe I was an asshole. And because Peter says that he's doing fine. Like, you can't worry about this because as long as you know you're fine. You're a good guy. You're a good kid. And Harry's like taken aback by this, and immediately like Flash Thompson and Gwen Stacy show up and ask Harry like, "Hey, what have you heard? What have you heard?" And Peter's about to leave as he turns back and sees her smiling. And he says, "And that's how it started. I turned back, and just for a moment I saw you looking right at me, and I turned into a puddle." Then we're back at the Parker residence, and Mary Jane is
Mary Jane.
Sorry. Aunt May is talking to Peter, and she's asking him, "Are you sure about getting a motorcycle, Peter?" And that was a big story back in the day in Spider-Man comics. Like, Peter Parker makes the coolest purchase of his life. Right?
Oh, we've moved so far from society. It's funny now.
I know, right? And Peter's like, "Yeah, Aunt May, I promise I'd be careful. I would be careful." And it doesn't matter. Like, the guy at the store says that he can't hold it for me any longer, and I don't have the money yet.
Also, hold up, wait a minute. Why does Peter Parker need a motorcycle?
Because he wants to impress Gwen.
I think, being able to swing across the city should be, spectacular enough, shouldn't it, in theory?
Yeah, but it's more responsible to...
Oh, boo-hoo, responsible. I don't think it's responsible to put yourself into debt for a vehicle.
Well, here's the thing. He doesn't have to, because Uncle Ben and Aunt May saved enough money for him to get a car.
Oh, well, shit.
And that's what Aunt May says. "Your Uncle Ben and I wanted you to buy yourself a car, and we saved so much money that we have this for you. Here you go. This envelope has all the money you will need. And if you want a motorcycle, I think Uncle Ben would agree with you." Because I don't know if you know this, but when I first met your Uncle Ben, that's what he was doing. He had a motorcycle. We rode everywhere across the city. And looking at you being this excited about this, it reminds me of your Uncle Ben. And Peter's like, "And May, this is the best gift you've ever given me. Thank you so much. Although, can you promise me that you will not be popping wheelies across the street?"
Come on, that's fun.
And Aunt May is like, "Oh, Peter, you're a fucking weirdo." And Peter Parker swings immediately to the shop, to the motorcycle shop. And the guy in there is like, "Motorcycles are like women, son. You've been coming in here for months, and between you and me, you don't know if you like her until you take her out for a spin." And Peter's like, "I know, but it's just so much money." And immediately he looks out the window, and Gwen, Harry, and Flash are walking right outside the store. And that's the one decision he needs. That is the moment of clarity that he needs to say, "I'll take it."
How convenient, right? You know, comic books are always so convenient.
And Spider-Man's like, he immediately like rides next to the guys and flashes like, "Hey, watch it, asshole!" And Gwen is immediately like in shock by looking at Peter's new motorcycle, and she wants to get a ride, and Peter's like, "No." Gwen asks him, "Is it fast?" He says, "Not too fast." And Gwen hops on, wraps her arms around Peter, says, "I like it fast." And we cut back to the Parker residency, only to find out that Mary Jane was actually knocking on the door of Aunt May, and Peter Parker wasn't there.
Oh, that's depressing.
Here's the thing: back in the '60s, when Mary Jane was introduced, Aunt May wanted to set him up with Anna's niece, Anna Watson's niece, and that was Mary Jane. And Aunt May didn't know the lingo very well, so when she described to Peter, she described her as a woman with a wonderful personality, which in our in Guy's language, having a wonderful personality means, Robert,
that she's a catch.
No, that she's ugly.
No.
Well, back then, that's what it meant.
See,
having a wonderful personality.
When you said we progressed as a society, Men don't really, well, men do still care about looks, don't get me wrong, but not all men, okay? Some men care about the personality.
Yeah, but back then it meant that if someone had if a girl had a wonderful personality, that meant she's ugly. So Peter tried to avoid Mary Jane so much, but also at the same time being like head over heels for Gwen.
Now what's funny is now Mary Jane's spending all the time avoiding Peter.
Absolutely, which is fucking depressing. And into chapter 2. Are you good?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay. So these chapters are each all presented into kind of like an era of Spider-Man life, and we will see some. And there are several issues that this all takes place throughout. And let me tell you, are you good?
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to make time.
I do like. I'm gonna say this right. I do like the cover, kind of like symbolizing what the book's gonna be about. So like the first book being the Green Goblin, so that's what's primarily on the page. And this one is probably gonna be say Gwen Stacy because she's staring at me right now.
The title of the chapter is "Let's Fall in Love."
Oh, that too, because but also because the Gwen Stacy eyes are staring right into my soul.
Yeah. The chapter the title for chapter 1 was My Funny Valentine. I like to mention that because I really love the title chapters. It's probably one of the best parts of this book, where it's like it touches you right in the heart. And we cut back into the narration of the tape recorder. Peter's saying that I don't know what happened. I put it down for a minute and I lost my train of thought.
That sounds like someone I know.
And as he's looking into the newspaper of the Green Goblin being dead. And the guy in the newsstand is like, "Hey, buddy, are you gonna pay for the fucking newspaper, or are you gonna look at it all day?" He's like, "Hey, considering how much money Jonah makes out of my headlines, I would think I would get a free subscription for my lifetime." And the guy's like, "I don't give a shit what you think, man. It's a fucking quarter. Give me the quarter or get the hell out."
Okay, I'm gonna say this right now. Nothing will ever be a code in the book physically, but when it goes to like a wide panel shot where it goes like across 2 pages, I do like how Marvel Unlimited kind of just pieces the two together, so it's one giant image instead of 2 pages.
Looking at it right now. I'm currently looking at it as well. I'm like, it looks amazing. Like, I'm not even wearing my glasses and I can read it properly, dude. It looks awesome.
But yeah, I still think nothing can beat holding that, hand and book in hand type of feel.
Absolutely. I mean, look at it. I'm looking at it right now, dude.
Well, I'm also looking at it right now as well. But it's one unified pixel.
And Peter like drops a quarter, and the guy's like, "Thanks." Peter says, "Thanks. You can keep the change." And the guy's like, "Shut the fuck up, you fucking comedian." And then we see this dark figure, and that's telling the guy, like shaking the guy off for a newspaper. And he finds out that the Green Goblin is dead. And well, shit, that's bad news for me, but most importantly, for Spider-Man.
Call an ambulance, but not for me.
But not for me. And Peter Parker sends straight to Empire State University because he's late to his lab partners, to his science lab class.
When is he not, though?
And turns out that his lab partner is none other than the beautiful Gwen Stacy.
Don't you hate it when that happens?
And Gwen is like, "You like what you see? The chemical reaction you got when you added the catalyst to the two polymers. Did you get the reaction you expected?" And Peter's like, "At this point, Gwen, I don't even know what to expect." And Gwen immediately is like, "Interesting. Well, maybe if you want, we can catch on later and study." And Spider-Man's like, "How about tonight?" And Gwen jumps right in it, saying, 8 o'clock, the Silver Spoon. Don't be late.
He's going to be late, isn't he?
Oh, you're going to love what happened. And Flash jumps in, like, just trying to intercept the pass from Peter to Gwen Stacy.
See, but the problem is there's no fumble, though. Peter,
no.
There's no fumble, so you can't really intercept it. He caught it.
No, I know. And Gwen straight up mentions that. Huh. It's more like an interference. It's more of a instead of picking up the pass, it's more like an interference flash. And Peter Parker just jumps in and says, "I'd say it's on offsides for sure." Flash Thompson gets on Peter Parker's face, which immediately calls Professor Warren's attention and calls Peter to move to another seat. Like it's fucking high school all over again. And at this moment, I remember being foolish enough to think, Gwen Stacy, let's fall in love. Over at the courthouse, the Rhino's being ready to being not only released but transported into court for his audience against the court. How many times did I say court, Robert?
Like 15, easily.
And immediately while that's happening, basically the Rhino's knocked out. Hopefully long enough to get safely to his destination. While the guards are being knocked over, the Rhino's woken up. And Peter gets to the bugle, only to hear that the Rhino is on a rampage across the downtown.
That's amazing.
I know, right? And Robbie Robertson immediately says, "Peter, you got it? Hopefully your friend Spider-Man can get there in time." And as Peter goes off and like, Rhino is just wreaking havoc around downtown New York. To where Spider-Man jumps in straight to the fight. Again, throwing quips, being funny, his funny self. Which I love looking at Spider-Man and Rhino fight.
Yeah.
And considering looking at, again, Tim Sale's art, the Rhino looks fantastic.
Like you said, it's a nice blend of like the Dick Goro designs, but with something with a new take to it.
and absolutely a modern.
It's a retro modern take. If that makes
It's
sense.
retro. It's retro modern, yes, which is again looks fantastic.
I think
Although I will
this
say,
looks better than the stuff that they attempt to do nowadays, but that's also just varies upon the artist.
like Romita Jr.
Not even Ramiro Jr. Whoever did the Doc Gwen, they did a good job. Don't get me wrong, but something like it's a good. Actually, honestly, looking at the art now, they did a good job with that whole entire making it look like a Ditko era comic book, but in modern
I
times.
also like the look of the Rhino,
Oh yeah.
like the coloring, and I think I want to say this. He looks a little like full, you know,
Yeah, he just doesn't look like he's just
a massive shredded dude,
yeah.
like a monster shredded Hulk.
He
It looks a little
he,
cubby.
he looks like a rhino.
Yeah, straight up. And Spider-Man is being watched by this mystery figure that you will find out at the end of the story who it is.
It's the
But
Goblin.
no, it's not. I'm gonna
What?
keep it under wraps for a little bit longer.
It's Craven.
Who?
Craven.
Motherfucker.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Shit.
God damn it.
I was going to say Mysterio and then be pissed off if it was Mysterio because it's a shit post with me and Marvel Knights with it being Mysterio.
God damn it, Robert. It makes sense. I will explain it later. Why?
I mean, his biggest story is probably shortly after this, after the Gwen Stacy saga, isn't it, with Craven?
No, it's like 10 years, 15 years later, Robert.
Well, close enough in comics. That's like next week.
It's like a week and a half. It's like next month.
Yeah.
I mean, no, because Peter Parker and Mary Jane were already married.
Whatever. Moving on.
Yeah, I can't do the timeline in my mind right now. Spider-Man is throwing hips, throwing punches, and unfortunately, the Rhino manages to get away.
Also, wonder why I guess it was Craven?
Why?
Because he's studying Spider-Man and his fighting abilities and all that stuff.
You smart ass motherfucker. God damn. That's good. That's good shit. I still need to get a Craven the Hunter figure.
Don't worry, you should get the movie one when that one releases.
Oh no, I don't want. None of my Sinister Six figures are from the movies.
It's a joke, Lalo.
No, I know. And as the Rhino gets away, Peter finds a shrapnel from the armor, the Rhino's hide, and he immediately thinks, okay, I can use this, and swings off. Well, the police is like, what the fuck, Spider-Man? Are you gonna catch him or what?
Nah.
He's like, I will, officer.
That's your problem.
I gotta run an errand. And he goes to his friendly neighborhood scientist.
Not Lizard Man yet, right? Because he still has.
No, he has been a lizard yet. He's been a lizard by around this time.
But he looks human.
Well, yeah, because it's kind of like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde situation.
Okay. So it's like a knockoff version of the Hulk. Got it.
Actually, yeah, because the lizard is not aware that he's Kurt Connors, which is established in this book as well. Like, the lizard is not. It's almost like he is a completely different personality, which is fantastic if you ask me. And Dr. Connors is analyzing it and says, it's a pretty sophisticated mutation of a human DNA with rhinoceros DNA, added with some kind of Kevlar or possibly adamantium. It's almost impossible to replicate. And Spider-Man's like, okay, but can it be dissolved? And Connors is like,
oh,
yes.
Look! It's the callback to the last issue with the catalyst that created chemical reaction with the two polymers.
Yes.
You're proud I pay attention, right?
That is actually very good. Good job. Holy shit. What did we do last time? That was the Sinister Six. And so Spider-Man asked, is it possible to create is it possible to add two polymers and make it able to remove one of them, but kind of like a cleanser? And Connors is like, yes, but in order to do that, it could be damaging to my stability as Kurt Connors. Basically, doing this, it could turn me into the Lizard.
That sounds like a skill issue.
And Connors is like, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. And immediately Connors jumps in and says, if doing this will help people, I don't care if it turns me into the Lizard. I want to do it. And Peter and Dr. Connors get to work. Back in outside, the Rhinos is basically just calling out for Spider-Man. And Spider-Man's like, hey, you made a mess over here, young man. Pick up your toys, go back to your room, or you're grounded.
I don't wanna.
And the Rhino's like, motherfucker, I will kill you. And Spider-Man's like, fine. You don't say I did not warn you, and starts webbing him up. And as he's webbing him up, he's wrapping it around the webbing. The Rhino's like getting weaker and weaker. And the reason why is because the webbing that he composed has the polymer, it has the formula to dissolve the Rhino's armor.
I love the type of censorship they have.
Of the webbing covering his balls?
Yes.
And immediately, Spider-Man just jumping in and uppercutting the motherfucker and sending him straight to jail again. As he's back home, he's ready to go out to the Silver Spoon. And Aunt May is like... He's finally on time, by the way.
No fucking way.
And Aunt May is saying, hey, you look so handsome. Are you meeting Anna's niece, like, dressed like this? And it's like, okay, fine. Yes, I'll meet her tonight, but I gotta go right after that. I can only stay for 15 minutes. And as he's heading for the door, he says, and to be honest, Gwen, this is the narration. How long could it take? And he opens the door, and he says, you're Mary Jane Watson? And immediately, she says the iconic line,
oh, God.
Face it, Tiger. You just hit the jackpot.
Oh, come on, Charlie. You can't say, not Charlie, but come on, Lalo. You know, like, I love the Zeb Rails cover. That was issue 26. Oh, it's 25 that you hate, right?
Yeah.
You hate that cover so much.
This is much better.
I'm so glad I spent the $15 on that cover.
This is much better.
No, it's not. I like mine a lot more.
This rendition of, because it's not the same outfit, by the way. It's not the same outfit she was wearing. It's absolutely not the same outfit Peter was wearing.
Well, I kind of like the more, like, obviously, you know, the 60s, it was actually, like, the correct fashion. But now it's kind of, like, stylized to seem like the 60s. Because this is, 40 years removed from it. And that's kind of always something...
Yeah.
It's kind of something cool looking back on. Seeing how they actually drew it. And then how people envision it, you know, even 10 years or 15 years later.
Are you in the next issue?
Not yet. I was too busy disgusting. Okay, Lalo, this is an interesting cover, though. I'm not gonna lie. I love the fact that it's
very much
Marvel Knights, Marvel PG, as it's a borderline borderline pinup goal.
Yeah, and Tim Sale's beautiful art, man. Come on.
Absolutely. I'm not knocking it.
Neither am I. Peter starts talking about Mary Jane, by the way. When I started making these tapes, I knew we were going to get to this part. I mean, even though you're never going to hear this, somehow, someone will. And I'm sure they're gonna ask, what kind of idiot talks about one beautiful girl to another beautiful girl? And the answer is this idiot, Peter Parker, me.
Literally us.
Because you really can't tell a story of how Gwen Stacy and I fell in love without talking about the beautiful Mary Jane Watson. As she is, as not Jonah, fuck.
Flash.
Imagine if Flash Thompson is flirting openly with with Mary Jane. And clearly the reason why is because Peter Parker went to park the bike and she went into the Silver Spoon. Basically, Peter walks in and it's like all party, like, hey guys, how's it going? Just as MJ is literally like in the place and she is openly flirting with Peter Parker in front of Gwen.
Okay, can you talk about the fact that you always compare yourself to having the luck of Peter Parker when it comes to females? That's fucking a cap.
I say more recent Peter Parker.
Yeah, that's more fitting for you. I have the luck of old school Peter Parker. Screw you.
At least in this story from 2002.
Yes.
I look more like modern Peter Parker.
What, depressed? Oh, I mean, I guess you all pulling Black Cat, so there's gotta be something though, right?
Yeah, but also like, if you look at 2008 to 2011, that is basically me, my look, all throughout that time. But moving forward. And Gwen is like, so she's quite the girl, Petey. Where have you been keeping her?
In my basement.
And Peter's like, shit. I did not think this through. And as a reader, you're like, yeah, clearly.
I mean, we would do the same thing, Lalo. We would do the same thing.
Absolutely. I'm pretty sure I've done the same thing. And Gwen and Mary Jane is like, Peter, can you buy me a coffee? And she's like, absolutely, come with me. And he orders a coffee, and immediately like, and Flash is like, I don't get it. Like, what's there to get? Like, Parker, he knows her? Looks that way. I don't get it. And Gwen immediately jumps in and says, Flash, let me tell you out something. What you know about Peter Parker couldn't fill a thimble.
Ouch.
And Flash is like, I still don't get it.
Are we sure we're not Flash Thompson instead?
And Mary Jane is like, so that's Gwen Stacy. And she's like, yeah, she's beautiful. She's gorgeous, actually. And Peter's like, Mary Jane, if you like that sort of blonde, gorgeous look, which I do.
You'd be hell-bent not to find anyone who's not that blonde.
I think if my track record indicates that.
Yes, you know your track record.
And immediately as they're talking, we see on the newscast that the lizard is attacking downtown again.
No,
well, that's
unfortunate.
He's actually underground. He's actually underground.
Ah. Look at that! I took that photograph.
Immediately, yeah, that Peter Parker took that picture. Hold on, Robert. Give me 1 second.
Did you die, Lalo? I think you died. Oh shit, he did die. Yeah. So far, little intermediary hill. Waiting for our co-host to get back. So far, this is a pretty interesting story. I even went into knowing nothing about this. I bought him the book because he's been looking for the book as long as I've known him in English. And I was bored one day, waiting for him to go to the comic book shop. Walking around, and I stopped, and I realized that they had the book on display, which we never really looked at until I was bored enough to kill time. So I picked up the book, and I gifted it to him because I know he's been wanting it for as long as I've known him, for the past 2 years.
Apologies about that. I'm back.
No worries. I was able to fill the void.
Thank you. And as Peter's looking at the...
Holy shit, the barista's... That barista's jacked.
Which one? The barista?
The barista. Oh. Look at that.
Holy shit. Even I don't have those kind of arms. I don't think you have those kind of arms.
No. I don't know if that's a guy or a girl. If it was a girl, that's even more impressive.
It's straight up a guy. But he has the most feminine face ever. And immediately, what Mary Jane's like, that's a terrible photo. And Peter's like, yeah, I took it. And she's like, are you shitting me? It's like, nah. Peter, I'm not gonna tell you how you do your job, but like, that's not exactly like photo op material.
When the man's literally throwing claws at you.
Exactly, like, the dude's fucking attack. Like, I take my photos with a digital SLR strapped to the corner of the room. It's kind of hard to get a clear photo.
Well, back in the 60s, they didn't have DSLR.
Well, the one I grew up with, yes, that he absolutely did.
Well, yeah, the one you grew up with, not the 1960s one.
No, I know. I don't know how the fuck he managed to rig those photos to manage to get somewhat of a shot.
He's just built different, Lalo.
He just straight up built different. He's Spider-Man. And Mary Jane's like, okay, I gotta go. No, Peter's like, I gotta go. And Mary Jane's like, okay, I'm going with you. And Peter's like, what? Okay, bye, Gwen. And Gwen is like, bye, Peter. And he flash jumps in immediately and says, wait a minute. He knows her?
So, again, to call back to the fact that I hate to break the news, but I think we're Flash Thompson.
Unfortunate. And Peter's like, I guess I could just plead insanity and throw myself out on the mercy of the court. I mean, you were right standing there, starting to notice me, and I brought in a girl.
See, but some plays actually that's actually a better move.
And to be honest, with Mary Jane, anything goes. Which is the title of the story.
If you think about it, Lalo.
Absolutely.
If you bring another girl into the equation, the girl that you really, really want is
going to take more interest on you.
Is going to take notice, right? Notice on the attraction side of things.
She knows that you're not entirely... you have options, basically.
But why are we trying to explain that? Because we clearly don't know what we're talking about. So, for all we know, we're going to be testing this cracked-ass theory that doesn't actually work. Which I have a leniency to believe.
So do I, to be honest. And immediately as they get in there, Peter's like, I don't think I can get past the police line. She's like, are you sure? I mean, I have my badge, but I don't think they're gonna take that. And she's like, leave it to me. And she starts flirting with the cop.
I mean, any tactic goes when you're trying to get paid, right?
Exactly.
Wait,
and Mary Jane's like,
except for certain circumstances, then it's kind of, blowing the lines of, the professional and, responsibilities thing. But as long as there's no, intercourse that happens, it's fine.
That's messed up, Robert. Jesus Christ. And immediately Spider-Man, Peter swings up and stood up to Spider-Man and looking for the lizard. When he finds Kurt Connors' wife and son.
Oh, no. Depression.
And Spider-Man immediately, the kid is like, Spider-Man! Hi, you came up to visit us? And Peter's like, I'll find him, Miss Connors. Your husband's going to be okay. just I want just keep Billy out of keep Billy safe. And they're whispering to each other while at the same time Spider-Man goes to look for the lizard. And like, hey, Lacey, where are you? And Spider-Man just goes glaring at him.
Really cool lizard.
Right? It's very much like, it reminds me of Todd McFarlane's take on the lizard, but less monstery. If you know what I mean, if that makes sense.
More of a human, more grounded, something that kind of ties it to the character and the kind of semi-grounded story.
The action figure that I had, the one that broke.
Yeah, depressingly.
By the way, Walmart, Hasbro, what the fuck? Fix your shit.
They built over
that lizard looked amazing, and it broke like it was fucking nothing.
Just like our hearts. Moving on.
Exactly. And Spider-Man's like going after the lizard, basically fighting the lizard, managing to get him somewhat distracted. Well, the lizard is talking about how he's gonna take over the world and destroy humanity. How they're all nothing but insects that must be eaten. While at the same time, our mysterious dark figures come with me and I'll lead you to safety while you get away from Spider-Man.
Bonk.
And he's like, why would you help me? Because we want the same thing. We want to kill Spider-Man. That's not what I want. You know nothing of what I want. I will follow you out of here, but if you or Spider-Man or anyone else interferes with my plans, I will kill all of you.
Can you talk about the fact that I sent you an article this afternoon that involved, using lizard DNA to regrow cartilage?
Yeah, it's almost like what I'm gonna do before I do it. It's kind of creepy, Robert.
No, it's just the universe, okay? Somehow, some way, we always find a way to perfectly time things. Like our Galactus video, we recorded that a solid 4 days before any rumor mill started happening. The day the video comes up, the rumor mill just ignited and accidentally boosted our video. We had
Which, by the way, we're really thankful for.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
But we had no idea that it was going to do so well. We just accidentally recorded that issue because we felt like it. Before probably the biggest thing involving that storyline happened since, 2007? Whenever that Rise of Silver Surfer film came out.
I would argue that also made a big bust with the HasLab when it was coming out.
How long ago was that, Lalo? 2017?
2020? 2022?
That's a long time ago, Lalo.
That's fair enough. And Peter goes back to Mary Jane. It's like, and she's like, did you get any photos? Also, what the fuck happened to your face? And he's like, oh, I got hit by something. I don't know. And Mary Jane is like, well, you can't, if you're gonna do hazard work, you need to get hazard pay. And Peter was like, wow, if I knew I was working for something, I would have jumped in front of the train. And basically, Peter is like, do you need a ride somewhere? She's like, nope. Mary Jane doesn't need anything. Where I go, the party goes. And Peter's like, mouth wide open.
Because Vanessa, she's a party girl.
She's a material girl.
No, she's a party girl.
Yeah. And Peter's like, okay, I gotta follow the lizard. Fortunately, I don't need to have a tracker on him because I know how the fucking lizard thinks. He thinks that Kurt Connors and him are a separate, different person. He's gonna go look for Connors. And sure enough, it's almost like fucking clockwork because the minute he heads over there, he is tearing Dr. Connors' office. And so Peter opens a can of liquid nitrogen, trying to cool down the room. Enough for him to manage to almost like wrap him up in order to give him the medicine that he needs. And Spider-Man's like, at the same time, Mrs. Connors is in there along with Billy. And Spider-Man's like, don't come in there. Don't come in yet. I'm still like working with Dr. Connors. Because he doesn't want Billy to see his father like this.
Very understandable.
And he managed, the minute she opens the door, Kurt Connors is back to normal.
Oh, that's happy.
And Peter's like, and Spider-Man's like, well, guys, I gotta go. And he swings away. And Kurt Connors says, there goes a real hero. And his wife says, I wish there was something we could do to repay him for all the good that he does. And Billy says, what could we do, Mom? Somebody like Spider-Man has it all.
I love the irony.
Which is actually super depressing, by the way. Back at the Parker date.
Did you want to say Parker Mansion?
Yes, I was gonna say Parker Mansion. Thank you for catching it, Robert. Jesus Christ.
That's my job. I get paid well doing it.
Back at the Parker date, Harry's waiting on the porch. And Peter's like, what, Harry, what's up? He's like, no, my dad's, before you ask, no, my dad's fine. He's still in the hospital, but he's doing better every day. That's actually the part of the reason why I came to see you. Your aunt said it was okay for me to wait here, so I did. He's like, okay, what's up? Why does your dad have something to do with me? He's like, it's no big deal. It's actually the best thing that's ever happened to you. Because since he's been in the hospital, some of his tenants are actually, some of his renters are actually like leaving the places, leaving their apartments. So he offered me and you a place to live in. And Peter's like, holy crap, that's huge. And at the same time, Harry breaks down the whole like offer. Basically, we would be living rent free. We would be fine. We would be all taken care of. Because Peter like mentions that he's worried that he cannot afford it.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the biggest things he says. And all he needs to say is yes. Robert?
Yes?
No, nothing. I can hear you for a second.
I didn't see anything, so of course that's why you couldn't hear me.
Fair enough. And before he says yes, Harry asks, like, what's your deal with Mary Jane? And he's like, nothing, we're friends. He's like, okay, that's perfect. And says, just think about it. Say the word, and I'll make the phone calls. And Peter goes inside to talk to Aunt May. Next morning, well, it's been an undetermined time. Actually, that's the next issue.
Next issue.
My bad. I didn't mention it.
Okay, this is just false advertising. Spider-Man Blue, right? Right? An orange cover. Exactly. It's annoying. This is...
Well, the title gets explained at the end.
I know, Autumn in New York. It makes sense, but I want to be a little bit of a drama queen, Lalo.
Actually, the lettering for my book...
Oh, God. Actually...
No, like, the lettering for my copy, they're all blue. Like, every chapter says Chapter 4 in blue.
Well, yeah, but, like, I mean, like, the cover's orange, right? And
yeah.
And of course the title's going to be in blue, because it has to be contrast against something, Lalo.
Well, the sketch cover that I have here it's also like it's all blue with white.
Odd.
It's beautiful. And we have Peter like narrating like, today I want to talk about, and then it cuts off because the recording, the tape is getting messed up. Aunt May is fucking cooking dinner. I mean breakfast. And we have like this whole like page of silence, which is great.
Yeah.
Look at Aunt May. She looks old as fuck.
You know, yeah, because this is before the MCU-fication of Aunt May.
Absolutely. And even like in the Amazing Spider-Man, she looked a little younger.
In the Amazing Spider-Man, she was in her 60s.
No, she's in her 50s. Probably late 40s.
No, I'd say 60s. Early 60s, because I'd say...
Sally Fields. Oh, how old is Sally Fields?
I don't fucking know.
I don't care. I don't care enough.
Your attitude shows it, Mistral.
And the reason why, like, we have this whole pages, and Peter's like, I want to talk to you about, I want to ask you something. And they're both like, you first. No, you first. Like, my Aunt May always taught me to be respectful to women, and who am I to argue against my Aunt May? Huh, Aunt May? She's like, Peter, goddamn you. Like, Peter, with you going to college and, you know, like, going in and out, working, I think it's time for you. I don't want you to hate me, but I think it's time for you to find a place to live. And I want to ask you if it's okay if Anna Watson moves in with me, just so I'm not alone anymore. And Peter's like, Aunt May, I don't know what to say, because I was gonna ask you if I could move out with Harry, if I could take Harry up on that offer. And Peter says, well, I mean, the biggest thing I'm worried about is I don't want you and Aunt May and Aunt Anna to be up all night, you know, listening to music, and the neighbors have to call the cops. And Aunt May is like, Peter, you have a mustache. You have a milk mustache. And he's like, oh shit, do I? And immediately like cleans up himself and it's like, anything else? And she's like, I know it's not my business. And says, don't let that stop you. And like, well, if you don't want Harry to date Mary Jane, you should have told him so. And I don't care how cool his bachelor pad. So it's a bachelor pad in May. And basically, like, Aunt May's not agreeing with Harry going out with Mary Jane.
Oh, boo-hoo.
But also, like, hey, free apartment. I mean, am I right?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't give a shit. You can fuck her for all I want, for all I care about. But the thing is that Mary Jane doesn't want Harry.
And that's why he overdoses.
That's actually, yeah, the reason why he overdoses.
Yeah, Lalo, remember we covered this part during Stories with Issues?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Over at the correctional facility, we have the vulture dying.
I mean, the man did have cancer. That was his entire gimmick, so it makes sense.
No, he doesn't have cancer. He doesn't have cancer in the comics.
Wait, really?
That's only from the game.
Shit.
Which is a good storyline in the game, not gonna lie. I was really interested into knowing how that would have turned out.
Well, who knows? You might figure out, at the end of, Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. Just really excited, not gonna lie. Basically, we have the goblin, like, not the hobgoblin, Jesus fucking Christ. It is way too late, Robert.
You know what? That sounds like a skill issue.
It is a skill issue. We have Blackie Draco helping Toombs get better. He's choking on something. But also at the same time, he's like, hey man, you gotta tell me where the fuck your gear is. Not the goblin gear, the vulture gear. Fuck you. and he starts telling him before the cops knock him down and take him back to his cell. Meanwhile, Harry and Aunt May is talking to Anna Watson, and Mary Jane is talking to Anna Watson, and everyone is in there until Harry and Peter's about to ask her out, when Harry immediately jumps in and is like, "Hey, Mary Jane, we gotta go."
Damn, got cock blocked.
Well, at the same time, yeah, basically that whole conversation going on where Aunt Mary Jane is like, "So what do you want to tell me, Peter?" And it's like, nothing. It can wait. It's fine.
The beginning of the cockification of Peter Parker right here.
It's a little look into the future of Peter.
You know, there was a moment in Peter Parker's life. Well, you know, he didn't have to worry about his wife, you know, leaving him for some other dude named Paul. But now here we are.
Fucking hot.
Also, can we talk about the fact that the most recent one of Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man by Wells, issue 25, right? Is that the issue? It's supposed to be a callback to one of the Gwen Stacy issues.
Oh my god.
Can we just talk about that fact? Because, you know, we didn't really put two and two together until very recently.
Yeah, the Amazing Spider-Man 25 is a callback to... No, not 25, 26 or 20-something. I don't give a shit. It's a callback to the death of Gwen Stacy.
I think it's issue 26. Because it's supposed to be, like, who's gonna die?
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
God.
So I just want to throw that in, though.
Thank you so much, Robert.
Absolutely.
You son of a bitch. At the same time, that same night in the prison, basically Blackie is escaping with the help of an unbeknownst figure, which we all know now because, thank you, Robert, it's the fucking Kraven the Hunter.
Hey, don't hate the player, hate the person who just knows how to put context clues together.
Is that a jab at me?
No.
Oh, okay.
I just knew that. Okay, he's studying his prey. What other character in the Spider-Man Rogues Gallery studies his prey?
It's the Kraven the Hunter. Shit. And
also the coat, and you know, it kind of has Kraven callbacks to it.
Yeah, it looks like fur. It is straight up fur. Blackie immediately gets the damn it, it's fucking green.
Yes.
The Vulture
good job.
Armor.
You know colors, I think.
Thank you, Robert. He gets the Vulture's armor and immediately sets off and escapes. At the same time, Peter Parker is heading to the welcoming party to the apartment. As Flash Thompson is like, "Hey, look, it's Spider-Man! It's Spider-Man on Fortnite! He's coming to Fortnite!"
Wait a minute. Okay, again, so I was actually kind of confused on why Harry... Okay, calling forward to the Dark Spider-Gwen, what if? Go and bring it up a few more times, probably. I was confused on why Gwen Stacy had to talk to Harry to get into Peter's apartment, but now it makes sense.
Oh, yeah. Well... I think I talked about this during our episode Stories with Issues. They were living together.
Well, yeah, but, you know, I'm not going with that small detail in the entire grand scheme of these Death of the Stacy's storylines.
That's fair. That's also very fair. So Spider-Man's like... Basically, they're having fun at the party. Harry's jumping in with drinks. And they're blasting music while at the same time Spider-Man's getting there. And immediately his web gets cut off by the fucking Vulture.
Not the Goblin?
Why am I... The Vulture. Fuck you.
Goblin these nuts. I hate myself so much.
Wait, no horn today?
What?
No.
Oh, yeah, no. That's right, fuck is it?
Sound effect.
No, I get mine. I give it this. You know, because it's my joke, so it's actually funny.
I don't hear it. I don't hear it.
Oh, you know what? They did, so you're just not cool.
Okay. Anyway. Jesus. Spider-Man's gonna fall, and immediately he catches himself by the skin of his teeth, and is basically fighting basically like a stealth vulture, which is Blackie Draco.
You know, a part of me feels like that's a poorly aged name.
Pretty sure it's a nickname.
Well, yeah, it's still a poorly aged nickname. Like in general.
It's the second. He's the second vulture too. He's a cool storyline. Not gonna lie, and I literally learned about it from here. Then going back and reading Spider-Man books, but like mainly originally from here. I'm like, oh, I didn't know there was a second Vulture. Oh shoot, he shows up in Spider-Man Blue. Holy crap! And then I just went into a rabbit hole of like looking at all Spider-Man books.
So does that mean we're gonna cover that on Stories with Issues soon?
Oh, absolutely not. I don't know what. Unless I have it somehow I get it, but I don't know. I doubt it. Anyway.
Lame.
And also, we're covering it here. Like, it's fine. It's the same story. Like, it's just literally from a different point of view. And at the same time, Spider-Man's like fighting the Vulture. They're all waiting on Peter Parker over at the party. Spider-Man and Flash is looking for Spider-Man because he cannot find him anymore. Because a second ago he saw him swinging through the window, and then a second later he disappeared. It is a fucking mess.
You know what? What if Jens is Spider-Man, and that's why he was always late about an hour?
Holy shit! I don't like that. And then the Vulture has a Homelander moment where he says, "I'm faster, I'm smarter, I'm stronger, I'm better."
Yeah.
As Spider-Man's like fighting the Vulture. Flash Thompson says, "And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it's midnight. How do you spell loser? Parker."
I love the fact on the video when that panel view is, it cuts off pretty much most of the context. It's just the Flash Thompson smiling, like really zoomed up with the. So what they're seeing right now is a source of probably someone's nightmares now. You're welcome.
And the reason why Spider-Man is late is because he is out in the middle of the night in a winter in winter. He's just out.
Don't you mean autumn?
It's fucking snowing. Fuck you.
The story is called Autumn, right?
Yeah.
You know, Autumn in New York. Autumn in New York. Exactly. So it's autumn in New York. Bing bong.
Yeah, it snows year round. Into the next issue, chapter 5. Which actually, this cover is on my background phone.
Oh yeah, it is.
Robert recognized it immediately.
Well, it's one of like the 15 he has, but yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the 1,000? 15? Let me see.
I'm being nice here. Okay, I'm being nice. I say 15.
11, 12, 13, 14. Fuck you.
Wait, is it really 15? I was on an accident. I swear to God, I didn't actually count how many themes you have for your damn iPhone. Android stay running.
And the title of this chapter is called "If I Had You," which is sweet, by the way. I just wanted to mention that. And the back in the narration is Peter saying, "Oh shit! I went to look for batteries, and I realized because I didn't realize I was talking for so long." When we cut back into the story, and Harry's like, "Hey, Peter, are you okay? You look like hell." And Peter's like, "Thanks, Harry. I love you too." And the reason why is because he woke up in the middle of the morning in a snow-filled bed.
Well, yeah. You saw the last issue, Lalo.
Motherfucker got sick. Peter got sick.
Yeah.
He caught the flu.
Oh, is this... Oh, no. Is this the moment?
No, it's not. It's not the moment.
Okay.
No, like I said, like I mentioned mentioned it before. Peter catches the flu like he fucking has AIDS.
That's a good point. Yeah.
It's not funny.
It's hilarious. So AIDS is not a joke, by the way, guys.
No, yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't want to be insensitive, but like
absolutely insensitive, you bastard.
No shit. Anyway, it's like actually a cool point because Stanley wanted him to be relatable in every sense of the word.
So like, dude's getting sick by every 2 minutes.
Exactly, like, and he thought like, oh, it would be funny if Spider-Man like he was swinging around and his knee stunned his mask.
You know, I love the fact that probably every single time Stanley probably got a letter saying, it'd be funny if Peter Parker got a cold. At the next issue, Peter Parker got a cold again, you know.
Yeah, and because Stanley's word was like Bible at Marvel.
You know what's funny? Like in later issues, it shows like, you know, doing like the Marvel zombie stuff. They say like Peter Parker's immune system's like super duper strong.
Yeah,
that it's actively fighting off the new virus cells.
It's really sick, and he gets sick like it's fucking every Wednesday. Like the weather changes and Peter like gets sick, which is very much like
that happens with me as well. So,
like I went to Florida for like a week, and the second day I was there, I had caught a bug. Like I caught the flu, and I was sick. Literally the whole trip I was in Florida.
I mean, that kind of makes
like
sense,
the weather changes for me and I die.
You know, so I'm scrolling through on my phone unlimited, and one of the first what if issues is, what if Spider-Man joins the Fantastic Four?
Yeah, that's a first issue.
I find that's kind of funny now, considering, you know, his relationship with the Fantastic Four.
Which is depressing and a fucking shame.
Well, we don't talk about, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like don't count Zeb Bros one. I just don't recognize it as Spider-Man lore. Continuing with the story.
Yeah. I was paging through because I was like, where was I? Peter like looks at his place at his bed and immediately like lays down.
He really just crashes.
He just crashes, which is very much me. Immediately after I get home from work, I just like, where's my bed? Right here, bed. Boom. And the mystery figure is looking at the trail that Spider-Man left behind, noticing that he left and Blackie dragged over.
Okay, I want to say this right now. Can you just stop calling him a mystery figure? We know who it is.
I know, but I want to keep bearing the lead.
Lalo, we discovered the fact that, you know, it's Craven. We discovered that like 30 minutes ago.
Fine. And at the same time, Craven is visiting Adrian Toomes. Spooky, because he's gonna make it.
He's not.
By the way, no, he was poisoned by Blackie.
Ah.
That's why and he wanted Blackie wanted the Vulture to give up where his stuff was. That's why he poisoned him. And now here Craven is giving him the cure.
Interesting. Let me guess. To create the Sinister Six.
No.
I'm assembling a team.
It's actually a less diabolical plan.
I don't care. I don't care. I'm assembling a team. Vulture will return.
The Sinister Six to Electric Boogaloo.
Yes.
And then Kraven the Hunter kills himself with a shotgun, and that's why we get Hobgoblin in the next rendition of the Sinister Six.
Remember, kids, suicide is never the answer.
Except unless you're Kraven the Hunter or Mysterio.
Nope. Even if you're Kraven the Hunter or Mysterio, because remember, kids, suicide and mental health is a real thing. If you need someone, please reach out to someone you trust.
And if you seek help,
yes,
know that someone loves you. Back in the book, Spider-Man's feeling like crap, and immediately, what a better surprise than Mary Jane with hot chicken soup.
Can we talk about the fact that her dress looks like the Black Widow symbol?
Can we talk about the fact that there is an outfit in this book that I accidentally recreated in action figure form without even realizing it. And then I looked at this book and I was like, holy crap, I have that figure of Mary Jane Watson. That's hot.
I'm going to talk about the fact that her dress looks like the Black Widow symbol.
I don't care.
Your attitude shows.
And Peter's like, hi, MJ. And sorry. This is a funny scene, okay?
Well, it's only funny because we've never had this experience.
Mary Jane is feeding him soup, flirting with him, openly flirting with him, when immediately Gwen Stacy walks in.
Jesus Christ.
With a copy of Huckleberry Finn.
What the fuck? This man. All he needs now is Felicia Hardy to walk in, and then boom, the love triangle of Peter Parker will be completed.
So love square, Robert. Jesus. Get it fucking right. And Felicia Hardy doesn't show up until 1980.
And they can retcon away now.
You're 20 years too early.
I don't give a rat's ass.
And Peter's like, Huck Finn. My Uncle Ben used to read that Huckleberry Finn to me. And she's like, really? I didn't know. Well, I did find this old lady named May who told me all about Uncle Ben and reading you Huckleberry Finn.
What the
she went to Aunt May.
This is a new level of floating. What the hell?
She went to Aunt May using her brains and say, hey, Peter's not feeling good. Is there anything I can do to make him feel better?
The battle for this man is just astonishing.
Spider-Man's dick must be so fucking good.
Well, it does have radioactive cum in it, so.
Oh, fucking damn it, Robert. And basically, they're both like, we just happen to be in the neighborhood.
How convenient, right?
And said, actually, Harry has 2 theater tickets for the new Broadway show. I hear it's awful, Mary Jane says. Well, you'd know. How is your acting career, MJ?
Jesus Christ. Gwen Stacy is going for blood.
I know. See why I love her?
Jesus Christ. Gwen Stacy. Mary Jane's already dead. Don't need to keep on clawing it in.
It's fucking beautiful. I love this book, by the way. You can see why now.
Yes, this is the ultimate cat fight. Got the redhead and the blonde fighting. I mean, it's amazing. It's every man's dream.
Meow.
Come on, Lalo, do the pull. I know you can do a pull. Yep, there it is.
Don't you mean rare? Yeah, that's it. And immediately as they're both flirting with him openly, Spider-Man's like, ladies, calm down. I think all I need right now is some rest. Thank you, though. Because immediately after talking, he sees the Vulture outside with a bag of money.
Can I talk about the narration he does here? Like I said, maybe it was the fever and I was hallucinating. But I think the two of you will, well, let's just say, this never happened when I was Peter Parker, bookworm.
Yep. It's like, do you remember that panel of like, oh no, not this dream again. Please be gentle.
I know the joke. I don't know what panel you're talking about, though.
It's from Mary Jane and Black Cat #1.
Oh, God. I'm still upset. I'm still upset I don't have that dumb truck ass comic book.
I have that issue.
I need to track down that issue.
Anyway.
Moving on.
And both Mary Jane and Peter and Gwen Stacy are like, are you fucking shitting me? Like, I get you have to choose one of us, but the fact that you're choosing neither of us right now, it's fucking mind-boggling.
That's actually a bottle play, though, if you think about it from, a game perspective, right? The Riz perspective.
Man who's no Riz.
Okay, shut it, Lalo. I have more Riz than you, okay?
Anyway.
No. Think about this, right? He's sick. He's vulnerable right now, right? He could just let these girls just, do whatever they want with him. But
take advantage of him.
But guess what? He shuts them both down and puts himself forward. That, though, is a king move. That is a king move right there.
Mr. Parker, you drop your crown, sir.
Don't worry, now Peter Parker's a cuck, so, I mean...
60s Peter Parker, how about that?
There we go.
66 Peter Parker.
60s to the 80s. 90s, maybe. 2000s would get a little wishy-washy.
90s, he still was married and had a very good marriage. I think it was into the early 2000s. No, because even during Straczynski's run, late 2000s. I will say late 2000s.
Hey, Lola, just say, one more day.
Post One More Day, yeah. Definitely post One More Day. But then he got, like, Carly Cooper. That's about it. Cindy Moon. Peter Parker's a player.
But never gonna get another blonde bitch. All redhead at this point. Moving forward.
Flash is trying to hit on Mary Jane. And Mary Jane just straight up says, Earth to Flash. Drop dead.
Also, can we talk about the fact that, again, we're literally Flash Thompson in this, Let me get this straight. He's got both of them up there?
Yeah.
Yes. I don't get it. What's Parker's secret?
Flash, I keep telling you, Pete's an okay slam. Basically, they walked out of his room, slammed the fucking door behind them, pissed off. And Harry goes, Flash goes for Mary Jane, and Mary Jane's like not having none of it. She straight up told him, Flash Thompson, drop dead.
She doesn't even look at him.
And they're both like, what the fuck just happened? Which Spider-Man's like, I don't have to go outside. I don't want to go outside. But the Vulture and both Vultures are fighting each other. And then he looks over to the table, and Huckleberry Finn is there, and all he can think of is Uncle Ben. And he puts on his mask and says, I see Uncle Ben. And that's all I could think of. And he goes on. Immediately starts fighting both the Vultures. And basically,
that's an awesome panel.
He's roasting the shit out of both of them.
Though some days I hate that with great power comes great responsibility. Love that line.
Yeah. Love that line. Again, the narration in this book is fucking pristine. And it all wraps up very well at the end. Anyway, after fighting, Flash leaves, right? He leaves Parker's apartment, and he's like, talking to himself, basically saying like, I don't get it. Why are chicks tripping over themselves over Puny Parker? And then as the fight is going on, the payload of money drops in front of him.
Oh God. Oh no.
And he's like, holy shit, this must be my lucky day after. And Spider-Man jumps in because the piece of debris is gonna crash on top of him, and Spider-Man catches him, recreating the amazing Fantasy 15.
Now this is a cool picture. Also, I kind of like the definition they gave Peter Parker Hill. Then
Absolutely.
Amazing Fantasy 15, or even more of the modern day recreations of it.
I would say like this is much better than, and this is probably blasphemy, by the way. This is much better than Jack Kirby's original Amazing Fantasy 15. Did you know that, by the way?
I mean, honestly, I don't know which one I prefer more. I think it's still cool.
The cover for Amazing Fantasy 15 is drawn by Jack Kirby.
Interesting.
And not by Steve Ditko, like many people would think.
I guess we learn something new every day on Stories with Issues, right?
I knew this for a while, but yeah, it's a cool fact.
I didn't. So,
it's a cool fact I know I like to throw in there every once in a while. Like, yeah, Jack Kirby drew the Amazing Fantasy 15 cover. It wasn't Ditko. Like, Ditko designed Spider-Man, right? He designed the suit and everything, but Jack Kirby like drew the first cover.
Can I talk about this narration? Sometimes I do realize that God has a sense of humor, and I actually get the joke.
Yeah. Going back again, sorry, for the original cover for Amazing Fantasy 15, it was used for Amazing Spider-Man 700. Which is something really cool, by the way. I really love that. No, not 700, 800. It was a variant cover to 800, I think. Damn it, I'll have to look that up now. Fuck.
And you were supposed to be the Spider-Nord.
Yeah, it's been like months since I've heard that fun fact. And it's been probably like 10 years since I've seen that cover. I'm pretty sure it's 700. If I look at my collections right now, it's probably gonna be 700. Anyway.
What they did a what if Spider-Man had rescued Gwen Stacy?
Yeah, they did. What are you looking at? Where are you looking this at?
I'm looking through the what if books of on Unlimited.
Oh, okay. Anyway.
I see it's relevant, okay?
As Peter rescues Flash, he basically drops him off on top of a building and says, okay, you gotta take this back to the bank. You can't put this in your pockets, man. And Flash is like, yes, sir. Of course. Yes. Yes. And Spider-Man swings away. And that's the moment of realization for Flash. We're like, what have I been doing my entire life? It's kind of like a hit point for Flash, where immediately after this, he decides to enlist. And Spider-Man goes back to fighting both of the vultures.
As one does.
And by the time that Spider-Man returns to the fight, they're tearing each other to pieces, by the way. So Spider-Man Spider-Man just jumps in and finishes off the fight, takes them both down, and goes back home. Where when he goes back home, Flash is back and he's just telling the story of how Spider-Man saved his life. And that's where he announces that he has joined the army. And now we are back to the mystery figure, or as we all know now already, is Kraven the Hunter.
Okay, at this point, I would have definitely guessed that one.
Yeah, no. This is meant to be the big reveal.
Really? This is supposed to be the reveal? Yeah. That's kind of...
Yeah, like, Kraven the Hunter, like, sniffing it, and, like... Into the next chapter.
To be concluded. 6. We're on the end, huh?
Yeah, this is the final chapter. This is the ending.
Wait a minute. Was this issue released in March of 2003?
Yeah.
Hey, look. It's almost like, I was born in March of 2003.
Oh, congratulations, Robert.
I'm as old as this book.
Shit. This single issue.
Single issue.
And Spider-Man's fighting the Scorpion.
Moment, I'm still loading. All of Me.
Yeah, this chapter is called All of Me.
Was this man John Legend?
All of you.
That's a bad joke.
We don't own that. We don't own that. So like, no, I'm not keeping that going. I'm sorry. I fell asleep with the tape recorder on. I had a dream about you, and we got into every big fight that Spider-Man has ever had in the last couple of years.
So you're saying this isn't the Sinister Six?
No, this isn't the Sinister Six 2 Electric Boogaloo.
That's lame.
The reason why it's Kraven, and why every single Spider-Man villain that Spider-Man has fought in this book has been an animal-themed villain is because of Kraven. Kraven assembled this roster of villains to test Spider-Man's limit.
Holy fuck, you're right. Scorpion, Dr. Octopus,
the Lizard, Vulture. It's all been a plan of Kraven the Hunter.
The Dr. Octopus one's a little bit of a stretch, but yeah.
It's all been a plan of of Kraven the Hunter to take down Spider-Man, because he was hired by the Green Goblin in order to kill Spider-Man if he's ever defeated.
Oh, so he got defeated, and now...
And Kraven got the news, like, he got the beeper of, like, go take down Spider-Man.
Okay.
It's actually a really cool retcon for all these previous issues, because this all happened. Like, Spider-Man fought the Rhino, the Vulture, the Lizard, and then eventually he fought the Kraven the Hunter, and it was all like part of a 6-issue storyline. Just like this, it's a cool retcon that it was all actually a plan of Kraven the Hunter post the defeated of Norman Osborn was defeated.
Yes.
Back in the Spider-Man's apartment, he has a Valentine's note, which at the beginning of the book, he establishes that he always got a Valentine note with no name on it, just a smiley face. And Peter thinks it's probably from Aunt May. Like, Aunt May, you gotta stop. Right?
Yeah.
And they're about to have a party, goodbye party for Flash.
Because he got sent off to Vietnam.
Yeah, which is Iraq later on in continuity, but like, whatever.
Just like how they changed Punisher's origin from Vietnam to Iraq.
Yeah. And he's also, Flash got his legs blown up in Iraq, so like, yeah.
And then became Agent Venom, right?
He did become Agent Venom.
See, I'm okay with Agent Venom and Anti-Venom being...
Oh, Space Venom? Are you okay with Space Venom?
McFucking excuse me?
That's Flash Thompson, too.
Okay, let me finish my thought. I'm okay with Agent Venom and Anti-Venom being anti-heroes. Or even heroes. Depends on...
Space Venom.
Fuck you. We still need to cover Space Hulk, okay?
Well, it's because Venom joins the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, we still need to cover Spaceship Hulk, okay? Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves with, Space Venom. That makes no sense considering the fact, Venom is a symbiote from space, but...
Whatever. He's a domesticated symbiote. He's like a doggy.
No. That's in the most recent Deadpool one.
God damn it.
No, that's actually Carnage, actually, technically.
Anyway, Peter's like talking to Harry, and it's like, "Hey, can I borrow your aftershave?" And Peter's like, "Sure thing, here you go," and tosses it to Harry.
You think that's the key to get some ladies?
Yeah, that's literally what he says. And the party's going great. Like, they're receiving people. Gwen Stacy's coming in with this like beautiful dress that looks amazing, by the way. Like, very good. Good choice. Good choice, Mary Jane. I mean, Gwen Stacy. Then Mary Jane comes in, and they're all flirting with Peter, right?
Yes.
And then Flash arrives. Flash arrives and is like, "Hey, Parker, like, how you doing?" And he just tosses his jacket on top of him, and then everyone dumps his jacket on top of Peter.
Oh, poor Peter.
And Peter's like, "Nah," tosses them to the side. As the party keeps going, they're all celebrating Flash. And then his spider sense goes off. And the reason why is because Kraven the Hunter bursts through the goddamn sky ceiling.
That's quite unfortunate.
And he's like, "Where is the Spider-Man?" And here he is, and he punches Flash Thompson in the chest, knocking him into Peter.
You know what? Again, I mentioned we were going to mention Spider at least one more time. I like the design for Kraven. It's again, that Ditko, like, baseline, but brought up to a more modern for the time design.
I think if you look back at our episode on the Sinister Six, that is pretty much the same design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you also if you look back. Oh no, it's 2006. I mean, it's like 900 videos behind. But in reality, it's literally the last video we did. Which I think Lalo did on purpose.
Yeah, that's literally why I did that. It's a little tagline to go watch the previous episode because it was amazing.
No, I mean, you tie in the two issues, 2 episodes together because...
Spider-Month, yeah, of course. And immediately Kraven goes on for Harry.
That's a good guess, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, because he can smell the aftershave.
Oh,
so he grabs...
I'm sorry. I like to think the fact that now that Peter Parker puts on aftershave and then puts on his mask. So
hey, that shit burns. If you don't put anything after you've shaven, and like you put on the mask, that shit hurts, man. I'm talking from experience here.
And we're getting too goofy.
And immediately Peter's like, "Call 911." And Gwen is like, "Peter, where are you going?" My camera, Bugle, photos, Spider-Man, bye.
Okay, I think we're Peter Parker, at least in this panel here. We had to be, because that's something that we would do.
Spider-Man, camera, Bugle, photos.
I am a group documentarian. I need to get the photo of this.
Yeah, I need to get to the view. Hey, that's a good as excuse. Like, Jonah's an asshole. Like, if I don't get photos of this, he'll have my ass.
I mean, but he doesn't really work for Jonah.
No, he does.
He does at this point?
Yeah, motherfucker, we had a whole storyline.
He was a freelancer. At least says you'll get paid like any other freelancer by the voucher by Friday.
He's under contract right now. Around when he was in college, he was under contract. Immediately as he turned 18, Jonah's like he locked him into a contract.
Probably a really sneaky one though, right?
Yeah. That's why he was struggling at the beginning of the story, because he wanted to get paid for last week's photos.
Moving forward.
Yeah. Kraven's like giving exposition of like, you don't have to hide anymore. You can fight me, Spider-Man. And he's like, I don't want to fight you. Please help me. And immediately Spider-Man jumps into the fight of like, hey man, like chill the fuck out. If you wanted to talk to me, you could just ask.
Also, I love the fact that hate to break it to you, Jungle Boy.
He just You should have said something like George of the Jungle or something like that, or Tarzan. I don't know. Probably the 2000s kid inside of me who wanted to Tarzan reference or George of the Jungle reference.
The George of the Jungle was much more 2000s.
Yeah, good shit. Good shit. Anyway, the fight goes on. Harry grabs a fucking bucket, I don't know, filled with rocks or some shit, and smacks Craven in the back of the head. Which I'm surprised he wasn't knocked out by that shit, but whatever.
Well, you know, when you get your powers from lion's blood, right, Lalo?
He doesn't. I need you to shut the fuck up. And immediately as the fight is going on, guess who arrives?
George Stacy.
Norman Osborn.
That's
out of the hospital.
Interesting.
Which allows Spider-Man to get the upper hand, and Craven just escapes. And as soon as Craven leaves, Norman is like, "Thank you, Spider-Man," shaking his fucking hand. And Spider-Man's like, "Holy shit, this is not gonna end well."
No, it is not. It's going to end very sadly.
And that was it. I found out later that everything between I've been through, the rhino, the lizard, the vultures, all those animals were all part of some test Craven had arranged. I look back on my life as Spider-Man, and God help me, there are days when all I can think of is how much time is taken away from my family and from everyone I've ever loved.
Oh no.
As Spider-Man goes back home, Gwen Stacy is looking for him, and he takes off the top of his Spider-Man suit. And Gwen is like, "Peter, what are you doing?" He's like, "Oh shit!" And he hides his Spider-Man mask as she is talking to him. And immediately Gwen walks up to him and grabs the Valentine's note, and it starts talking like, "You missed the whole party." He's like, "I know. I'm sorry." Like, and Gwen grabs the Valentine's note, and it's like, "What's that?" "Oh, it's a silly thing. Probably my Aunt May or someone gave me a secret Valentine." "Really?" "Well," she asks, and Peter's like, "Well, what? Peter, will you be my Valentine's?" And he grabs Gwen and kisses her.
That's an awesome panel.
And the narration says, "And that's when you had me, Gwen. All of me. Soon after, you would get killed by the Green Goblin. And I would never find love again. Until Mary Jane." And that's when... And he's like... He basically says, "For years I've tried to make sense of your death. Something, anything, that I could call good about the time after all that bad. And all the time I've been sitting up here talking to you, I remember something I don't think I've ever told anyone. The night of your funeral, MJ came to see me at the apartment. I was mildly rude to her. I just wasn't up for that life party that Mary Jane was part of. But something happened that night. I think Now You're Dead was MJ's wake-up call. That we weren't all going to live forever. And that party was going to end. I don't think Mary Jane Watson could have had a serious relationship with me until she realized how much we all lost that with you gone. She would later become my wife." And that's when Mary Jane walks in through the door and says, "Peter, how long have you been listening?" he asks. She's like, "Long enough." And Peter starts apologizing immediately, like, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean for you to hear all that." And Mary Jane cuts him off and says, "Gwen was my friend. I loved her as much as you did. Peter, do me a favor. Say hello to her for me. Tell Gwen I miss her." And Peter says, "That was Mary Jane, Gwen. She says hi. And I should get going. I guess when I try to sum up how how I feel sometimes around this time of the year. I feel blue. Not like I've been dipped in with a tidy bowl, man, but like in music, like jazz. I'm feeling blue, and I long for the time when the girl I met, the girl I knew with an incredible smile and so much good in her heart, made me think life can be great. And we end up the story with him clicking on the recorder, ending the sixth tape of Spider-Man Blue. And that's it. That's the story. Like I said, it's a very much darker tone Spider-Man.
It's a somber story. I wouldn't say it's darker. I would say
somber. It is very.
Yeah, like
it's very lighthearted.
It felt like a Spider-Man comic up until the end, up until it cuts back to the house, and
really
Peter's reading.
Because that is great. That is my favorite part of the book.
Oh, it is. I love that. I love this part. How it kind of like the story stops at Peter being happy. You know how everything that went on in between. You know when he first met and just pretty much right before, not right before, but right when they made it kind of more like a Valentine's. Kind of tying the beginning narration of him leaving the flower at the bridge on Valentine's Day or whenever it happened.
It's a very good reminder of why Peter, why this is all Gwen Stacy's Peter's biggest failure.
Yeah.
It's a very, very lighthearted story. It's very, very much a classic for all time.
Yeah, it feels like an old Spider-Man story that you would see from the Ditko Leo.
Yeah, and even it's a timeless classic.
Yeah.
Like if this can take in 2002, 1964, 2023. Like it can take literally any time and anywhere in time, and you can still read it and you say that's a good Spider-Man story. And I think that's what Jeff Loeb and Tim Seld meant with this color series.
Also, another thing I like about this entire thing is that it's one of the only times you really see Peter Parker break down.
Yeah.
Right? You never see Peter Parker break down. You always see everyone else break down around him. You see everyone else break down around him. I mean, also, another thing, throughout this whole entire last segment of the sixth book, everything is pretty much just blue and gray, except for the photo strips.
Yeah.
I mean, even when it's not really the main focus, you can tell it's important because it's yellow. When it's everything else is blue and gray, it's that 1 ounce of color in this story's life.
There is one panel I like to look at that it's right after Mary Jane jumps in, and you see Peter has a 5 o'clock shadow.
It means he's been up. He's obviously been telling the story for what, 6 tapes?
6 issues.
Yeah. It's.
And I like the fact that there's 6 tapes, and they're all name Gwen 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. It's we're reading said tapes basically.
Before I go along this with you, I really didn't care for Peter's relationship with Gwen.
Mm-hmm. And now you see it, and you're like, oh, I get it. I get why.
Yeah, I get why people love Gwen and Peter's story. It's kind of a tragic story of. I'm gonna say it like La La Land. It's like La La Land, kind of. I hate saying that, but it's what it is.
This is actually one of the better Gwen Stacy books because Gwen has a personality. This gives Gwen a spark that she never had in classic continuity, which is really enlightening.
It builds Gwen's character up. It doesn't
absolutely, and gives her. It's more than her just being the dead girl.
Yeah. Oopsie, I killed my girlfriend. It's an actual. It shows what Peter actually kind of went. Well, it shows what Gwen meant to Peter, and how now looking at that issue of Amazing Spider-Man, how that would affect him.
How he would have, there's a line that says sorry. There's a line at the beginning of the book. I didn't go over the narration, but if you're able to find this book anywhere, like, please get it, because I want everyone to read this.
What page is the line you want me to look?
It's on issue 1, page 1, basically.
Page 1, 2. Page 2?
Yeah.
Digitally, or like, is it, what's the line?
Digitally.
Digitally? Okay.
It's the big splash that Spider-Man's swinging.
Oh, swing to the bridge?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the line you want me to look at?
Hold up. No, actually, it's page 1, pretty sure.
Page 1.
Shit. I can't find it. I'm sorry. No, it's not. I'm looking for it. I swear to God.
What's the general gist of it?
He says it was a story of a girl who I was willing to spend the rest of my life with her, but it turns out she was gonna spend the rest of her life with me. It is just painful.
Yeah.
Like him reminiscing on this love that he had, and how it was a big deal for him, and he lost it in such a violent way. And I think it goes very well with this line that says, "There is nothing I can do." No, it's about remembering someone who was so important to me. I was going to spend the rest of my life with her. I didn't know that meant she would only get to spend the rest of her life with me. There's nothing I can do about that, and I've come to accept it. But when you lose someone you love, everyone tells you to pick up and move on. Don't dwell on the past. Is what she would want, and that makes me smile, like I could ever want to forget you. And I think that resembles very well, like it encapsulates this story very well.
Yeah, it's him looking back and all the ups of the relationship.
It's very much
before the tragic fall.
Exactly. And it's about my beautiful Valentine. And we're gonna end it right here because this is getting very sad. But please, if you can, pick up this book, read it on anywhere you can. It's a story worth reading. It's a story worth remembering.
It's even on Unlimited. So if you have Marvel Unlimited,
absolutely. Boom. And I want to say this because it's about remembering who we lost. And unfortunately enough, one of the great people that worked on this book also passed away. Thank you, Tim Sale, for everything you did for Spider-Man. And thank you, Gwen. And this is Thursday Dishes. I'm Lalo.
And this is Robert, feeding your daily dose of depression.
And thank you for watching.
Peace.